weather forecast today?
Today's forecast, a lot of sunshine, blue skies, marine clouds. Just a perfect day to go outside and relax. That's your forecast. We'll be right back.
Yeah, sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. No clouds in the sky, but again, away feels like it's been a freaking...
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Contracts and Cocktails. I'm Carolyn Smith.
And I'm Kelly Bowling, and we're with the Coastal Estate team.
We are, and we're here today to talk about new construction and do you need your own realtor when you buy new construction? Because a lot of people will just wander on into that open house and there's a realtor there.
Oh, yeah.
That realtor works for the builder. That realtor does not work for you and never, I mean, they may be helpful to you.
Yeah, of course they are.
We're not saying that some of those realtors are not helpful, but they don't work for you. They work for the builder. They're paid a salary by the builder. And so we're going to talk about today why you would want to have your own representation when you, instead of just wandering into the model home, talk to your realtor, get a realtor first, and have them go with you.
And they'll tell you which communities that you should maybe stay away from.
Yes.
If there are any in your market, and, you know, which communities are like, you know, great buys or best buys for you, depending on your needs, because they know you, or they'll get to know you. So.
Yes. And where you're going to have probably the best build experience.
Yeah.
And we would like to think that all builders are the same, but all builders are not the same.
They are not created equal.
Yes, and sometimes, you know, where you choose, you may have an area and there may be 3 different new home communities and they all would work. But there's a difference in how they build, how they communicate with you, that type of thing.
Right.
So a lot of people think, well, you know, I'll get a better deal. If I just go direct to the builder, I'll get a better deal. Not so.
No, you pay the same price whether you hire us to work with you and accompany you throughout the process, or you choose to go in and go it alone.
Right. You don't save any money.
They're
builder
not cutting you a break.
No.
They're not giving you a deal because you didn't bring a realtor in the door, because guess what? Any of that money that they were going to pay your realtor's broker, they're now putting in their pocket.
Yeah, and it's true. And you know, the salesperson who works for the builder is busy. They're working with a lot of different people. They're working with far more people than your realtor is. And they, you know, the squeaky wheel kind of gets the grease and that kind of thing. But also we develop relationships with those salespeople.
Yes, definitely.
We work very hard to have a very cordial, friendly relationship with those salespeople so that we're able to get sort of preferential treatment. I hate to say that, but it's true.
But like when we need an appointment to go in and sit down, because sometimes they're so slammed that you might walk in off the street and there's nobody there to help you.
Right.
They literally have no time to show you around. There's been times when it's been that way.
Yes.
Or let's say maybe they did have time to meet with you, but sadly they didn't have any inventory for you.
Right.
Guess what? We're getting the emails when something's coming back on because somebody canceled. You know, I have this one coming up. And if you just walked in there yourself, you're likely not getting that communication until it's already like everybody else has already said no thank you, and then it's open to the masses at that point.
And it's true. And it's, you know, I can't tell you the number of times that I've gone in with a client, they're really busy, the even if you have an appointment, the previous client that they were working with is still there, and they'll give me a key.
Yep.
They'll give me a key. I take the map of the community and I go and open the doors and let you in. So you're not waiting around. So there is a benefit there.
Definitely.
So we're helping you select the neighborhood. We're helping you select a lot.
That's so important.
Yeah.
How many houses have you shown that somebody built in a neighborhood and it backed to a major highway, super noisy, or, you know, there's no room between the house, or the lot is oddly shaped, or, you know, there can be a lot of negatives, or maybe it's back, remember over in West Viera where they had those whole section that backs not only to now a major highway that's going to be open, but then there's a storage facility right behind that. So it's not like the best
water,
view.
I think the water treatment or something is back over there.
Yeah.
It's so important. And the thing is, you have to remember that the salesperson works for the builder. Their job is to get the lot sold.
Yes.
And those difficult lots where people are informed, you know, they're not buying those, and no one's buying those. So they're not going to point out necessarily. It's an error of omission, I guess, is what it is. They're not going to point out to you, oh, you know, this lot, even though it's a great price or the lot size seems good, oh, by the way, they're going to be putting a storage facility in this lot that's kind of back behind, and you're going to be able to see that from your backyard.
Or that thing that's nothing right now, that's going to be a 2-lane highway in like 2 years or 3 years or whatever. So I feel like if you ask the question like, hey, what's going over there, they'll tell you.
Yes.
But if you don't know to ask that question,
no, they're not volunteering the information.
And some people might say, well, it doesn't matter because that's going to be my forever home. Well, guess what? Life happens, and we can't predict the future. So you might intend to be somewhere forever, but life can change in a heartbeat, and you just don't know when you might have to sell. So I, as a realtor, I'm always keeping resale in mind when I'm looking for homes for clients.
Resales are number one thing.
And with new construction, it's so important.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you're doing it right from the get-go.
So we want to make sure on that with the lot. We help you choose upgrades. I know this sounds crazy, and there are realtors who don't do this. So your realtor may not do this. I love going to the design center appointments.
It's fun. Yeah.
I love going to those. I in my previous life, I had a custom home building company, so that for me is like, I enjoyed it so much, and I enjoy it now. A lot of the builders have very good design staff that can help you, but sometimes we look at things a little bit differently, and we do look at things from a resale perspective. Like, yes, you might really love this, but how is that going to play out in 5 or 10 years? How's that going to be for resale? Do you really want to do this kind of funky, weird thing that you're thinking about doing? Or do you want to keep it more standard? I have gone in some new construction homes where they have done some things, and the reason I went in them is because something happened, something changed, and they had to sell that new construction home either before it was done or right when it was done, and they had done some weird stuff that prevented it from being an easy sale. So you definitely want to look at that stuff. And I think too, we can look at it from a cost perspective, like, hey, you really need to make sure you have a pull-out trash can, because it's inexpensive. That's something you want. Or if you really want an extended lanais are a really good value. Usually you can add that for not a lot of money, but maybe you don't need, I don't know, some fancy thing. Maybe you don't need level 5 quartz. Maybe level 1 quartz is okay, or granite or whatever.
Yeah.
That if you are trying to stay in a budget, we can help you do that.
Definitely. Yeah. Because you don't want to upgrade your house so that it's like the best house on the whole block, right? You know?
Well, you might want to.
You might. But then, again, when life happens and then you might have to part with a home, you don't want to be upside down or have a difficult time. You don't want to be house poor.
Right. You don't want to have spent where you're like, why did I spend so much? I don't really care about these things.
Right.
Get the bigger shower. That's what I'm going to say. You'll never regret the bigger shower.
The tall doors are nice.
Yeah, the tall doors, the tall baseboards. There's things that are like, people are like, do I really want the tall door? Yes. Yes, you do. You want the tall, it's usually a little package, tall doors, tall baseboards. They go together. Get that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a realtor, we're local. We're here. A lot of people are buying new construction. They're not here.
Yeah. They're
not moving from somewhere local. They're moving from somewhere far away. And so we're keeping an eye on construction for you.
This literally can start from the very beginning. Back during the pandemic, things had changed a little bit with one of our local builders, and they had very minimal inventory. And you had to literally camp out in a parking lot in order to get one of their homes. So this was before they went to their lottery system. And I had some really nice family that had come down here. They were moving here from Virginia. They knew they had plenty of time. And they were like, we would like to build, even though it won't be ready when we move, but we'll rent something in the meantime. Yeah. And they were like, well, how do we do this? Because we have to go home. And, the lot release is on Saturday.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let me make a phone call. So I called my husband. I was like, call your parents. We need the RV. You're going to live at the parking lot for about a week. And he was like, okay. I love him. He's so great. He does whatever I ask him to.
Go live in a parking lot.
He will. He had a great time, and the kids went and spent a night with him, and they had pizza. So he literally camped out in his parents' RV. Poor guy. I mean, it was very luxurious, not roughing it at all for him. And then that way on Saturday morning, he was there. He was able to get the first spot. They got the lot they wanted. They were able to build the home that they wanted.
Yes.
And then I had another client who they did it for themselves because they were local, but they camped out. You've camped out for people before the parking lot.
Somebody who was relocating with a local company, but they were relocating from California, and same thing. It was a lot release, and they could not be here because they were still working in California. And so I was like, okay, so we camped out all night in a lawn chair.
Yeah, you couldn't be in a parking lot in your car then. They had you literally in a line.
Yeah, in lawn chairs, and it was like you had to have someone to tag you off so you could go use the bathroom or get a cup of coffee or whatever. But it was like the old days when we used to have to camp out for
concert tickets.
I have a funny story about camping out for concert tickets. It has nothing to do with this, but it was really funny. I was in college, and I forget I don't know if it was U2 or something like that. It was some big concert, and I went to USF at that time, and we're camping out. And there are a lot of us. There's a lot of kids out there in our lawn chairs. It was like, tailgate city. and the sprinklers went on.
Oh, no.
The sprinklers went on. We're all out there, and I guess the university forgot to turn the sprinklers. I mean, they knew we were going to be camping out.
Right.
And oh my gosh, so we're covered in like sulfur water. If you live in Florida, you know they use well water. It's sulfur water. So we're wet, we're cold, and we stink. So it wasn't that bad camping out for the house.
Yeah, a little better.
Yeah, they didn't turn on sprinklers, so
we could do that part for you if necessary. Now they're doing lotteries, so we can go to the lotteries for you.
And they only do lotteries. I was told, at least for one of the builders, I was told they only do lotteries when someone cancels. That if now that they're back to a more normal thing, but we can, and we do get heads up when there's something coming back on the market. So you mentioned that before. That's like really a big deal, especially if you don't want to wait for the whole thing. And
that way, somebody else has already waited, and then they've changed their mind for whatever reason, and you're able to kind of. That's how I bought my VR builder's house that we bought. Somebody had canceled, and we just kind of snuck in. They weren't doing lotteries then. It wasn't as in high demand.
Crazy. And the lotteries are back, people. So
they are.
The other thing we can do is, a lot of people get, I don't want to say intimidated, because intimidated is not the right word. They get frustrated, and they get sort of like, and they're busy in their own lives. Yeah, they're at work during the day. They have their own things, and they're trying to communicate with the builder, and they're trying to check on the house. And even if they live here, they're trying to check on the house. And they get frustrated. They need a liaison. So we're the liaison at no cost. I mean, it's really at no cost to you as the buyer. We're communicating with the builder. We're communicating with the salesperson. We're communicating with the superintendent on site. We're making sure if you have a problem, let's say you go out there on a Saturday, no one's there. And you're like, hey, I'm supposed to have an electrical outlet here. It was added so that I could put in my wine cooler or whatever. And you don't know, how do I communicate? You send an email, you didn't hear back. We will take care of that for you. We make sure those things get done. And when there's problems, and there are problems, I mean, sometimes
nothing is smooth always,
Yes, construction
is not the way that it is. There's always going to be blips, whether it's materials delays or... sometimes a bad sub comes in, you just never can predict how it's going to go.
Right. But it's a human endeavor, and humans have mistakes and flaws. So when there's a problem, though, we can call a meeting. We can be there. We can, again, advocate on your behalf. And I think that's super important to know.
And you've definitely have done that recently for a few of your clients where, things were not going well and you had to intervene. And I think they came out for the better on the other side of it, despite, the rough patch that they had to go through.
Because sometimes as the client, you're really worked up. You're hot. You're mad. You're angry. And I think we just can stay a lot calmer. It's not our home. We care about it. We care about you, but we're able to temper how you feel with getting that message across that it doesn't offend the builder and then come to a solution that works for everybody. And yes, I've been able to do that recently, and it's worked out really, really well. And
kind of like a mediator.
Yeah. And it's a good feeling for us. Like we're able to really help. So we want to do that. That's what we're here for. So I definitely think, new construction is great for so many people are afraid of it. Don't be afraid of it.
No, I feel like it can be a really fun process if you let yourself enjoy it and have somebody who's working on your behalf to ensure that, all the little bumps in the road are going to get smoothed out as best they can. Yeah. But it can be a really fun process, like being able to curate your own home and choose all the finishes.
So nice.
It's a little bit overwhelming for some people. So maybe it's not for everybody. So there might be a builder that, they have packages of if you pick this cabinet, this is the floor you get. So there are builders that do that, but there are some that's with Viera, it's a semi-custom experience. So you really can choose quite a lot.
Yes. And I was impressed with, I have to say, even though Del Webb, I was impressed with them, the new 55 Plus, and they really had an amazing design center. I had a client who wanted to build with them. We were one of the first ones in there, and their design center is just opening now in Melbourne. But we went to Orlando. The designer was great, and the selections were amazing, and they could pick. And they were able to give us prices right then, which was nice.
Love that, yeah.
Yeah, so we could see where we were, so we could change things and make things stay within budget. Yeah. So I don't know. It's really good. I love new construction. I'm always thrilled when someone wants to do new construction. I think I have 7 closing this year still. So I love new construction, and I think Kelly does too. We enjoy the process and getting to go out there and see it. And yeah, it's fun for us.
It is. And it's kind of like delayed satisfaction too, because it's such a long process, and then you get to learn, your client, because that's part of the design process too. You've already met your client, you usually know what they're they're looking for. Sometimes you have an idea about their personality, and maybe you've shown them some resale homes, so you already know what they don't like and what they do like. So if you're there at the design appointment with them, it's great that they have design staff, but that person's never met them before.
True.
So they don't know anything. And if, you know that I don't like brown cabinets, and I'm like looking at brown cabinets, you're going to be like, Kelly, what are you even looking at? You already know you're going to hate that. And then it's like, oh yeah, wake me up, because they were so pretty in that little display over there,
They look so nice in the design center, but you're not going to be happy with those.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's good to have somebody that knows you and is going to advocate for you.
Yeah, so call us. That's what we're going to say. Call us for your new construction or resale or whatever else you need related to real estate. We're happy to help. Our number, 321-422-2160, or hello@Coastal Estate Team. And we're going to do next time, I think we're going to talk about some of our favorite home things, which might carry over. Some of our favorite things might carry over into new construction as well. So if you have any favorite things that you want us to look at or include in our next podcast, please let us know. And we'll look forward to seeing you then. Cheers. Bye.
Sunny days, no clouds in the sky.